All right, so today we're diving headfirst into a world that's basically blown up overnight, right? Online communities. And even more specifically, we're talking about the role that's become essential in making sure they actually work, the online community manager. And wow, you were not kidding. You sent over a ton of info on this. Career guides, interview tips, even some stuff about AI that honestly kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, it's a wild world out there, but that's what makes it so exciting, right? We're going to unpack all that, not just what this job looks like right now, because who knows what tomorrow will bring, but what you listening need to know to not just survive in this environment, but totally crush it.
Love it. Okay, so before we get too far, can we just like paint a picture for everyone? Because when I think community, I'm thinking like block parties, those awkward neighborhood potlucks.
hmm
How does that translate to the digital world?
Okay, so think of it like this. Every single place online where people are getting together, sharing stuff, just interacting, that's a community. It could be your favorite brand's Facebook page, that subreddit you can't get enough of, even just the comment section on like a viral cat video. All of those needs someone behind the scenes, right? To cultivate that feeling that you belong, spark some conversations, and let's be real, sometimes keep things from totally going off the rails. That, my friend, is where the online community manager comes in.
So they're like the cool camp counselor of the internet, always there, making sure the vibes are good, but probably with a lot more rules about what you can and can't post.
That's a pretty good way to put it. But here's the thing. Unlike that camp counselor who gets to clock out when summer's over, this is a 247 kind of gig. New platforms are popping up faster than you can hit like. Algorithms change more often than I change my phone's wallpaper. An online community manager needs to be seriously adaptable, always learning, just to stay ahead of the curve.
It's like running on a digital treadmill that's constantly speeding up. You got to be on your toes.
Exactly. And that actually brings us to something else that your materials highlighted the pros and cons of this whole career path. What are you seeing there?
Well, first of all, the flexibility is a huge plus, right? Work from home in your pajamas, anyone. And let's be real, who wouldn't want to spend their days crafting witty tweets and chatting with passionate people about stuff they love? Sounds kind of amazing, if you ask me.
Oh, it definitely has its perks, no doubt. But let's not sugarcoat it. It's not all sunshine and, like, virtual high fives. Imagine dealing with a constant stream of comments, some awesome, some not so much.
And you're the face of whatever's going on, right? The one who has to keep things from becoming a total disaster, especially when people start getting a little heated.
That's the job. You got to have thick skin, be able to think on your feet, and have a whole lot of patience. You're mediating fights, battling bots, and oh yeah, making sure the conversation is actually, interesting and not just a bunch of random noise. It's a balancing act for sure, and it takes a pretty unique combo of like people skills, knowing your way around tech, and a genuine love for this whole world of online communities.
So it's not enough to just be good at social media. You're telling me you got to be a master communicator, a conflict resolution guru, and a tech-savvy trendsetter all at the same time. No pressure.
You make it sound so easy.
Mm.
But yeah, you're totally right. Those are the things that separate the casual posters from the true community managers. And speaking of separating, there are levels to this world too. Let's get into what moving up in this field looks like from starting out to leading the charge. Because the work you do, the impact you have, even the leadership opportunities, it all changes as you climb that ladder.
Okay, that's actually a perfect transition because I'm seeing a lot in these materials about the specific skills you need to really excel at each level. And it's way more than I thought it would be. Beyond just like managing a social media calendar, it sounds like you need a deep understanding of digital strategy, content creation, data analysis. It's almost like being a marketer, a psychologist, and a data scientist all rolled into one.
You nailed it. It's definitely not just one thing. And you're right, those materials are spot on. Understanding those areas is essential for anyone who wants to move up in this world of online community management.
Okay, so before we get ahead of ourselves, let's slow down for a second and really break down those essential skills. Because it sounds like you need more than just like a love for memes and being able to write the perfect hashtag to actually make it in this field, right?
You're telling me it's a whole lot more than just being good at social media. It's like you need that creative spark to make content that really grabs people, but then you also need the brain power to understand why it works and what your audience actually responds to.
So you're building real connections, but also using data to track everything and make sure you're actually succeeding.
Yeah. And don't forget about the tech side of things. New tools and platforms are popping up every day, so you got to be a lifelong learner, always ready to adapt to whatever's next.
Speaking of what's next, I feel like there's a big AI-shaped elephant in the room that we haven't really talked about yet. From what I'm seeing in these materials, it's going to completely change not just how community managers do their jobs, but how they even get those jobs in the first place.
It's true. AI is totally changing the game, and fast. Imagine this. You're a community manager with like thousands, maybe even millions of people in your online space, trying to keep track of all those conversations, the comments, the messages. No human could do that, right?
It'd be impossible.
Exactly. And that's where AI comes in. We're talking about tools that can analyze people's feelings. Are they happy, angry, confused in real time? That means you can spot a potential problem like before it even becomes a thing.
Oh, that's insane. So you're saying AI can like read my every word and tell me how to do better?
Pretty much. Think about those job postings you've been looking at. AI can analyze those too. It can figure out the specific skills and experience that company actually wants, even if it's not obvious. There are even platforms that do AI-powered interview practice. They'll give you feedback on everything, your answers, your body language, even your tone, all to help you totally rock that interview.
Okay, that's both incredibly cool and a little bit terrifying. It's like having a super-powered career coach, but also someone who's constantly judging my every move.
I hear you. It's a lot. But the important thing is to think of AI as a tool, not as like a replacement. AI can take care of the boring, repetitive tasks, scheduling posts, filtering out spam, which frees you up to focus on the stuff that AI can't do. Things like building real relationships, creating stories that resonate, basically, remembering that there are actual humans behind those screens.
So it's not humans versus robots. It's more like humans with robots working together to build online communities that are even stronger and more engaging. And that actually reminds me of this platform you mentioned, RoleCatcher. It sounds like they're using AI to give job seekers a real advantage in this new world.
Totally. They've really embraced the whole AI thing and built their platform to help people navigate it. Think AI-powered resume builders that make your experience match perfectly with each job description, interview practice tools that analyze everything you do and say, even giant databases of interview questions and career guides. They're really trying to give everyone a fair shot.
It's like something out of a sci-fi movie, but actually useful in the real world. We've covered a ton of ground. The ever-changing role of the online community manager, the skills you need, the whole AI thing. Before we move on, is there anything else we should be thinking about when it comes to making it in this digital world?
You know, there's one more thing that's super important but often overlooked: personal branding. In the online world, you are the brand. Your online presence, how you sound, how well you connect with people, all of that becomes part of who you are professionally, especially in a role like this.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not just about the company or organization you work for. It's about you building your own reputation, becoming a voice that people listen to in this space.
Exactly. And it all starts with being genuine. People know when you're faking it, especially online. You have to be real, you have to be passionate, and you have to really believe in the communities you're building.
So forget trying to be the next big influencer. It's about being the best possible you online. But how do you actually do that? What are some things people can do to build that strong personal brand?
It really comes down to being consistent and intentional. It's like, think of your online presence like it's a garden, right? You got to take care of it, pull out the weeds, make sure you're planting stuff that actually fits with your style and what you want to achieve.
So no more posting those random rants at 2:00 a.m. after scrolling Twitter all night.
Probably a good rule for everyone. But seriously, you got to be thoughtful about the stuff you're putting out there, engage with people in a way that shows you actually care, and let your expertise shine through.
So it's a lot of work, but it's also kind of cool when you think about it. You're not just building a career, you're building a whole community around the things you're good at and the things you love.
Exactly. And that's only going to get more important as the line between our online and offline lives keeps getting blurrier.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. We've talked about so much what it really means to be an online community manager, the must-have skills, the whole AI thing, and building your own brand. Before we wrap up, I always like to leave our listeners with something to think about, something to spark some more exploration. What do you have for us today?
Well, we talked a lot about AI changing how people find jobs, right? But let's flip that for a second. How do you think AI is going to change the communities themselves?
Oh, wow. I haven't even thought about that.
Right. Will we start seeing these platforms that use AI to create a totally unique experience for each member? Will community managers need to become like AI ethics experts to make sure this technology isn't being used in a bad way?
Whoa. Those are some seriously big questions.
Yeah.
It's kind of mind-blowing to think that someday we might be talking to AI bots in our favorite online spaces, or that everything we see online is shaped by algorithms we don't even get.
It's exciting and kind of scary at the same time, right? But that's the world we're living in now. And that's exactly why the online community manager is more important than ever, you know? They're the bridge between us and the tech, making sure that online spaces stay places where people can connect, be creative, and just be human.
I love that. And to everyone listening, if you're passionate about building connections, navigating this crazy digital world, and shaping the future of online communities, well, it sounds like you found your calling. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep those conversations flowing.